This fight for me is the real co-main event, since my favorite fight was, as I said in the previous video, Derek Lewis against Shui Taituivasa, and this fight for me is the co-main event. Not to say that I don't love the main event, with Adesanya and Whitaker, but for some reason I really like these all four fighters, and it's crazy. Again, Derek Brunson gets underestimated, and I think it's our chance to make some money on it again. I have been right on Derek Brunson a lot. So ever since I lost money on him on, I think it was Ian Heinisch and Shabazian, I made good money on him on Kevin Holland. And then, well, actually, I guess I was only right on him once. So I was wrong with him on Ian Heinisch, wrong on him on Shabazian. Was I wrong on him? Yeah, I was. And then for Kevin Holland, I made money on him, and of course, for some reason, I went against my better judgment, and there was so much hype on Darren Till, and Israel Adesanya was calling out Darren Till, so I put money on Darren Till, and of course, as a dog, of course, he ends up losing, but. Ah, man, like, I can't believe that's the thing about betting. Never go against your thoughts. Like, don't listen to other people, even though they might be more knowledgeable, more experienced. Listen to that inner voice. That's my advice. And what I wanted to say is the crazy thing is Derek Brunson is perpetually underestimated. And Blonde Brunson is pretty much a Super Saiyan. But, I mean, the guy's been a dog in at least his last 3 fights. I think he was the favorite against Ian Heinisch, slight favorite. I'm not sure about Elias Theodoro. He might have been either a favorite dog, but it was very close. He was a giant dog against Edmund Shabazian. Like, Shabazian was like minus 300 or something like that. Kevin Holland was like minus 180. This guy was like plus 140. Darren Till, I think he was like plus 120 or plus 140. So people underestimate. I know sometimes he looks gassed when he's like on the ground, but I think Derek Brunson takes this, honestly. I love Jared Cannonier, and I feel bad going against either of these guys, but I really think, and if you look, Derek Brunson only loses to the absolute elite. I mean, the guys he has losses to, Israel Adesanya, the champion, one of the greatest middleweights of all time, Jacare Souza, also the case, Robert Whitaker, Anderson Silva, Yoel Romero. And he was winning that fight until he got caught, I think, by like a crazy shot, of course, by Yoel Romero. And then I also fighted him, Kendall Grove. I haven't heard of him, but I Googled him. But that was like kind of early on in his career. But still, the guy only loses to absolute elite. And like I said before, I loved what he said when he said that, hey, I'm going to make another run at the title. And Henry Hooft believed in him. I think Henry Hooft told him that. So it was awesome. He's more confident in himself. And I think he gets this done with his grappling. I love Jared Cannonier, but I think that, this guy has a new swagger in his step, and man, what an athlete he is. It's actually interesting, it was funny. He used to be a cheerleader, which takes a tremendous amount of athleticism. It's funny, you think about the movie Dodgeball, and you think like cheerleading, but those guys are incredibly athletic, and the guy's a monster, great wrestler, great jiu-jitsu, and he knows how to use his striking. He knows how to use his reach and his striking, and he has serious power. I mean, he just destroyed Edmund Shabazian. Poor Edmund Shabazian has been the same since. Then, but let's just look at Jared Cannonier. I think Cannonier is very good, but I feel like he's been kind of dropping the ball in certain spots. Although he's looked more disciplined and shredded than ever, he does have a lot of losses. I mean, you can look, he has a loss to Robert Whitaker, Dominic Reyes punches. I mean, to be fair, Dominic Reyes, put John Jones to test, Jan Blachowicz, Glover Teixeira, Sean Jordan. I've heard of Sean Jordan, but in general, actually, let me change my tune. I think he's only lost to the elites as well. I think he just has more losses because he's fought, actually I think he has about the same amount of losses. So, but Brunson has more fights and more victories. So I do love Jared, and I really, like I said, I want both of these guys to win. I wish both of these guys could get separate title shots. But I really think, and it's funny because everyone, Israel Adesanya has been calling out, has been losing. Like Jared Cannonier called him out. He lost against Whitaker. I actually had money on Jared against Whitaker, and he ended up losing. And then he called out Darren Till, and Darren Till has been on a losing streak. But I really think that it's worth grabbing Derek Brunson at plus 140, or the fight going the distance at plus. I actually think that the safest bet is the fight going the distance at plus 110. I don't think that any of them finish each other because I think they're too tough. I mean, I guess it's possible that Cannonier knocks out Brunson, but that's probably the only chance. Either the fight going the distance. I like Brunson at plus 140 or Brunson by decision because I don't think he wins unless he gets a submission by decision plus 250. That's not a bad line at all. Or Cannonier by decision at plus 350. But I think maybe in terms of like the most conservative bet, I don't think plus 110 is a bad idea for the fight to go the distance. And I think their last few fights have, well, actually, Brunson finished Darren Till, but before that, I think his last few fights have gone the distance. Same thing with Cannonier. His last 2 fights have gone the distance. Although, you know, he did have a string of knockouts against Jack Hermanson, Anderson Silva, David Branch, but then he actually lost to Dominic Reyes by punches. So, what about Brunson? I think he's coming off a few decisions as well. Let me take a look. I mean, obviously he had the knockout against Darren Till, but he had a decision. Actually, no, it's been kind of 50-50. But I mean, more decisions than finishes. I mean, again, submission Darren Till, decision Kevin Holland, finish TKO Edmund Shabazian, decision Ian Heinisch, decision Elias Theodorou. So I think it might be worth taking a stab at plus 120, or taking maybe it's not worth taking the risk with it going decision. Maybe just grabbing Brunson at plus 140. I think that's the way to go. But either way, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. And I do appreciate all the support. Thank you so much.